Everyone on Not a Straight Line Live, this is your Act 1 beginner's call. Beginners to the stage, please. Act 1 beginners.
Well, dear listener, what a difference. Well, the song is what a difference a day makes, but what a difference a year makes. I reflected on the last year on a video that I put up onto YouTube yesterday. And I wanted to talk about it on this podcast as well. And times, they are changing. So that's two song quotes I've got in. I wonder what the third is going to be, because I've got some really exciting news for you, dear listener, and it's kind of good news story, but every good news story, the flip side of that is sometimes a bad news story. It's not a bad news story at all. It's a new evolutionary story, a story of evolution. And this podcast, this Not a Straight Line podcast, is coming to an end. Not a straight line. What is it they say when the monarch dies? The king is dead, long live the king. So not a straight line is dead, long live not a straight line. So it's going to keep going for a little bit on certainly the Wednesday episodes. There are a few conversations with guests that I have committed to get out. They tie in with publicity. One, for example, is coming up end of June. She's written a book, and we agreed at the end of her conversation with me that her episode would come out in the same week as the book launches, so she can tie that in. But these daily episodes are ending on Sunday, and that's a very special day for me. More about that on that episode. And so what has it evolved to? Well, you'll remember, if you've listened to even a smattering of these daily episodes, that I've done a lot of work recently with Jason Leister, and yesterday I had a 60-minute consult with him, which was the end of the 8-week program that I went through, Do What You Love and Prosper. And Jason's superpower is about lining people up. You know how osteopaths and chiropractors, they kind of line you up physically. Well, Jason does that at a spiritual way to get you in alignment with who you are. And when I started the Not a Straight Line podcast, I had my first conversation with a guest in June last year. I launched the podcast at the end of August, I think, end of July I launched it. No, I can't remember. Anyway, last year sometime. I knew I had a kind of a broad premise. It was conversations with entrepreneurs and artists exploring their non-straight line journey through life to give you hope and inspiration that you can get to where you want to get to from where you are. It's just not going to be a straight line. And what Jason did on the call and through the stuff that I sent him during the program, my response to the modules in the program, just through his questioning and his questions, basically, his expression of confusion with various aspects, because I was telling him about Activate Your Podcast, I was telling him the collaboration with Rob and Matt, I was telling him about the Help Before You Sell podcast, I was telling him about my desire to be an actor and producer, I was talking to him about Not a Straight Line, and yada, 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 all these things. And what he came up with was, he said, what we're aiming for is the title of the thing, of the offer, of the podcast, whatever it is that you're talking about, that both attracts your ideal listener, ideal client, and evokes an emotional response in them. And Not a Straight Line doesn't do that. There are some brilliant stories. There are some fantastic guests that I've had conversations with over the last year. But Not a Straight Line, conceptually is interesting. And a lot of guests have told me that the reason they came on the podcast was because the title of the podcast resonated with them. But it doesn't evoke an emotional response. And Jason came up with, off the top of his head, I guess just sort of him just expressing his innate intuitive ability. And I had kind of, I don't know if I had literal shivers down my spine, but I definitely had an emotional response to it. And we talked around it and why this might be a better vehicle, if you like, for a better container for me and the people that I want to help. And I've become very clear about who that is in these daily episodes. So someone in brevity, someone like me this time last year who felt trapped in some way in what they were doing for money to pay the bills, knowing that there was an artist, a creative person inside them that they wanted to express. And got off the call with Jason, incredibly energized and excited, and kind of already certain that Not a Straight Line would run its course, but that it would stay there as testament, if you like, to my journey, and also the relationships that I built with the guests on the podcast. Because as Cord Vickman, who I had a conversation with for the Help Before You Sell podcast, said that don't think about podcast episodes as episodes, think of them as assets. So I'll definitely be able to leverage those assets. In particular, the conversations I've had with guests who are artists on the Not a Straight Line podcast. Anyway, I woke up this morning and the name the title that Jason had given me had been replaced with what I know is who I am, and will be the container, will be the Evolved podcast. And that is, you ready for it, dear listener? Drum roll, please. The Wealthy Artist. So I am the Wealthy Artist. I help creatives break free from their day job to live their dream artistic life. I am the Wealthy Artist, and I help creatives break free from their day job and live their dream artistic life. And there are so many things that were independently lining up for that because of the intuitive actions that I've been taking over the last weeks and months. So, for example, my dear friend Samantha Bennett, she was the very first episode of the Not a Straight Line podcast. She is a book coach, one of the many things that she does. And she's an actor also. And I'm on her list, and she had mentioned that she was running a free webinar this evening. So this evening is Wednesday evening, on how to make money from your book before you write it. So she's got strategies and tactics and stuff to, if you know there's a book in you, there you can do these things and you can make money, develop an audience, whatever, for your book, and make money from it before you actually write it. And one of the things I did this morning was I asked ChatGPT to mock up a front cover of the book, The Wealthy Artist by Peter Daly-Dickson, and it absolutely blew my socks off. And another thing I did was I checked on Namecheap, where I buy my domains, and thewealthyartist.com was available. So I nabbed that. Another thing that's lining up is the conversation that I'd already got planned with Ashley and Morgan and Mark. And that was going to be the first of a new monthly format or whatever, not a straight line, but it's actually going to be the first roundtable conversation for the Wealthy Artist. So all of them have been or are artists. Morgan was a dancer. Ashley is an actor. She's just been cast in a West End show in London. Mark used to be a drummer in the West End on Lion King, amongst others. And Ashley's recently pivoted from a copywriting business to using her theatre skills in a corporate environment. So that's just going to be a fascinating conversation and quite meta as well, because, I'm pivoting and transitioning. Pivoting kind of doesn't really describe it. It's an evolution. Jason described it as a narrowing of the beam, a focusing of the beam. You don't necessarily need to increase the volume or the energy of the beam. You can just focus the light, and that's the laser, if you like. And anything else? Can't think of anything off the top of my head. I'm actually just got one eye on the time. It's 4:58 and Sam's webinar starts in 2 minutes. So that's the official announcement, sort of reflecting on a conversation with Jason last night on Tuesday. And the next couple of daily episodes are kind of going to be laying out I don't know exactly what they're going to be, but I suspect I'll be sort of laying out what the Wealthy Artist is all about. And as I say, you can still expect the Wednesday episodes to come out for another month or so, and then we'll take a break over the summer and launch the Wealthy Artist with in-depth conversations with artists, some of whom, like Ian McIntosh, the current Jean Valjean in the West End, who is living their dream artistic life, and others like me who are on the path. Some have just a little bit further along, but ultimately the listener know that if you want to be a wealthy artist, then you are in the right place. And I love you. Oh, and there is one other thing. Before you go, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Not a Straight Line. If anything in this episode or any of the episodes has stirred something in you, that quiet voice, that little niggle saying there's got to be more than this, or that ache in your heart when you see others living their creative dreams, don't let another year slip by. I've been where you are, trapped, watching my artistic self slowly fade away, but I made it out, and you can too. Let's chat about your second chance. Head to notastraightline.life/chat, because the world needs your creativity, not your compliance. Until tomorrow, love and be loved.